Okay, Transformers fans, this is not the intro that you are used to, but somebody has been talking once again. The most frustrating man in the live action universe. Oh God. But before we get into it, I want to make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my Transformers content. And it's probably best you do that, because this person keeps changing his mind, which means we have plenty of content to put on the channel, but also it gets more and more infuriating when somebody doesn't think before they talk. And that is exactly what Lorenzo Di Bonaventura keeps on doing. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday I released a video where we talked about the potential of Transformers The Last Knight and a sequel being made, and that came off the back of Lorenzo Di Bonaventura giving an interview when in Japan, and he was talking about the future of the live action universe. He indicated that there were two scripts underway and being discussed. One was for a Bumblebee buddy movie featuring Optimus Prime, which I was very interested in, and the other one was taking part as part of the Transformers bigger family, which indicated that he was revisiting the Bayverse and Transformers The Last Knight. Now, this is where again we get a bit sticky, because today he has debunked and refuted what he said, because today, and this comes from GameSpot, and I have linked their article in the description box below, but when Lorenzo Di Bonaventura was speaking about Stephen King's adaptation Pet Sematary at SXSW, he talked about the Transformers live action universe, and he said this: the main Transformers movie we are working on is a reboot, and I will say that Bumblebee the sequel will be more directly linked to the timeline that we set up. He didn't say this before, and he's also gone on record in the past, which we've talked about on the channel, where he said he never ever wants to use the term reboot. Now, we've been saying here on the channel, because Hasbro did indeed confirm that Bumblebee was a reboot, that it is a reboot, because, you know, duh. But Lorenzo had said that he doesn't like the term reboot because, well, it's just something he doesn't believe in. Now, hold on. You're saying we're working on a reboot, but you don't like reboots. And just the other day, you were talking about Transformers and going back to the Bayverse and The Last Knight. Oh my God. I mean, what is going on? What is going on, and what's going through Lorenzo Di Bonaventura's mind? Seriously. Now, I'm going to continue to read on, because, I mean, once you start reading this article, which again, check it out in the description box below, you just start to worry that he plays a major part in this franchise, because this is what it said. While Bumblebee didn't really connect to the other Transformers films, yes, we get that, and remember, it was meant to be a prequel, but clearly adjustments were made to make it, you know, shape up to be a reboot once you saw it was going to be a success and all that. But he put this: it basically served as a prequel to the franchise, thus it complicated things further when Optimus Prime appeared on Earth decades before his supposed first trip here in the very first Transformers movie. Yeah. That's why we all thought it was a reboot, because Prime touching down on Earth is such a significant scene. Him coming down in the 1980s, when you had him coming down in the 2007 Transformers film. That's why that scene is perfect to take the live action universe in a new direction. That's why we all thought it was a reboot. because if Prime touched down in the 1980s, before 2007, it makes perfect sense that you do carry on the timeline from there, reboot the franchise from Bumblebee. But you said otherwise. You said that people were over-analysing that scene. Who's to say that Optimus Prime didn't come down, go back to come back down again? You said that. Why did you say all that when you could have just said, yeah, it's a reboot. We started as a prequel, then we thought actually this would make a good reboot. Let's do this. Then there's no issues. There's no blurred lines. Crystal. But you didn't say that. So anyway, let me read on. So what is the release plan? Di Bonaventura doesn't seem to know. Oh God. Anyway, I'll keep reading. And he prefers it that way. What? I think Paramount should just pick the best script and release that first, the producer said. I don't think there is a plan in terms of what movie comes out first. And I always think you should just go with the best script first instead of planning a franchise based on release dates. Unbelievable. Absolutely. And I think it just sums up why you have the catastrophe that was Transformers The Last Night when someone like this is overseeing the franchise. You can blame Bay all you want when it comes to the Bayverse, but this guy is overseeing things. He's reading the scripts, and if he liked that script, it's been approved to take it forward. Well, he clearly liked the script for Transformers The Last Night. It was a failure. Okay, he liked the script for Bumblebee. But you see what I'm saying here? I mean, when we talk about, not having a plan, well, not having a plan has led to the mess that we've had in the first place. So learn from that and work towards a plan. A plan's worked pretty bloody well for Marvel. They've mapped out their MCU and they get everything bang on. Why can't we do the same for Transformers? I don't understand. We've got the characters. We could have different settings, Cybertron, Earth, other places too. There's so much. There is so much that could be used to build something like the MCU for Transformers. You could have origin stories being told, and it could all build towards a bigger Transformers film. And I think that is the best way to do it. But if you're not going to devise a plan and a method to make that work, and you just go off script by script basis, which at times, I'll be honest, yes, that can work. Maybe that's a bit of an approach from DC at the moment, with them going with Shazam. They're looking at things like a Joker film, and not everything ties into their DCEU. But this franchise, Transformers, there have been mistakes, and this guy has overseen those mistakes every step of the way. Now, you got lucky with Travis Knight. You picked the right director. You're gonna have to pick another director for the next Transformers film. If Travis Knight's working on the buddy movie, this bigger movie that you're building towards, again, I have to question this. If you're working your way towards that, that seems incredibly soon. How much work can you actually do with one other film? Not much. I think it's mad to be jumping back into a big live action movie at this stage. Give people what they wanted. The Optimus Prime solo movie, which you've gone very quiet upon because apparently Optimus Prime is such a stoic character, it'd be very difficult to make an Optimus Prime movie. Nonsense. Complete and utter rubbish. Anyway, I'll continue because there is a little bit more on this article. He went on to say that the Bumblebee sequel will be bigger than the previous one. Despite the spin-off having had the smallest budget in the franchise, it's going to bring Bumblebee into a bigger adventure, Di Bonaventura said. What was fun about the first movie was that we didn't have to behold the other Transformers movies. Well, you did, because it was a prequel. You did, because it had to lead to something else. But because it did alright, you stripped that back and made it a reboot, which we all knew you did. But then you said it wasn't that. But now you're saying it is that. Make up your mind, mate. Oh my god. Anyway, you know, I'm a passionate Transformers fan, but I get sick and tired of this drivel. You know, I mean, even the mention, it will be a bigger. It don't need to be bigger. Bumblebee was decent. You know, it had enough action in it and it had great storytelling. I'll take another one of those, please. Something with the similar and the same balance. I don't need bigger. It's not about big explosions constantly. It's about storytelling. Yes, the action's great. Yes, I love some of the action from the Bayverse. But it doesn't mean that you have to then, you know, amplify it tenfold each time. No. Learn. Anyway, so apparently from my video yesterday, which he said he was looking towards, you know, the bigger family movie, in which we all thought he was talking of bringing something after The Last Night. It's now not the case, and what he's actually doing is he's working something off of this Bumblebee buddy movie towards a bigger Transformers film. But in all honesty, whichever script is best will come first, so who gives a shit about the story anyway, or the plot to build to a movie, because Lorenzo Di Bonaventura doesn't. That's the crux of it. So guys, I want to get your views on this. As you can tell, it's just a bit exhausting, isn't it? I mean, you know, you have this golden opportunity. It's very exciting what happened with Bumblebee because people underestimated it. They didn't think it was going to do that well. They kind of classed it as another Bay film or a throwaway film. I saw other YouTubers say that. Oh, this is just a throwaway. Paramount aren't invested in it. Actually, Paramount were invested in it. But, you know, they were playing their cards close to their chest. They wanted to see. And from the fandom perspective, you know, because it was different, it was very exciting. The trouble is when people come out with these quotes, and Lorenzo is notoriously bad for doing this, it just makes you step back and think, well, it's still in the hands of somebody who apparently doesn't get it. Travis Knight got it. He's a fan of the franchise. He wanted to tone it down and go back to story and make people love Transformers again. This guy is just looking at the cash cow and how much money to get out of it. Fine, making money is all good and well, but make a decent film that goes with it and appease your fans. He said in the interview yesterday that we read that it's about appeasing the fans, but I don't believe you're appeasing the fans when you're saying it's just a case of bring me a script. If I like it, I'll say yes. If I don't, I'll say no. Because I think a lot of people want to see a more structured approach to rolling out these Transformers films and build a universe, because then we would know we're going to get a more consistent Transformers live action universe, and we'll know that the franchise is in good hands. Again, quotes like this, comments like this don't fill me with much faith. So Travis Knight, I hope you stay with Transformers and you work on the buddy movie. And then I really think that Paramount need to take a bit of a step back and look at this and read these sort of quotes and think, hold on, do we really want this mindless and senseless approach to our franchise? Hasbro need to think this, because there's more than meets the eye with Transformers than just script, approve it, done. There's so much more. And on that note, all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. Have your say about this very frustrating matter that is Lorenzo Di Bonaventura talking about the live action universe.